Welcome back to USA Coins. Get ready for something truly special. Because today, we're not just looking at coins, we're unlocking three powerful chapters of British history hidden inside. The UK 1 penny? These small bronze coins may look ordinary, but each one carries the weight of an entire era, from the height of a global empire to the struggles of post-war recovery, and finally into a modern Britain stepping into a new age. Every scratch, every detail, every design element tells a story that goes far beyond its face value. What makes this journey even more exciting is that all three coins share the same iconic Britannia design, yet the meaning behind that design changes completely with time. The same symbol that once represented power and dominance later became a sign of resilience and survival. So today, you're not just watching a coin video. You're traveling through time, holding history in your hands, understanding the rise, fall, and transformation of a nation through just one penny. Let's begin this incredible journey, starting with the 1934 UK 1 penny. The 1934 UK 1 penny belongs to the reign of George V, a king whose era defined the strength and global reach of the British Empire. During this time, Britain was still one of the most powerful nations in the world, ruling over vast territories across Asia, Africa, and beyond. This coin is a reflection of that dominance, a period when British influence touched nearly every corner of the globe. On the front of the coin, you'll find the detailed portrait of King George V. His image represents not just a monarch, but a symbol of unity during a time when the world had already witnessed the devastation of World War I under his leadership. Britain maintained its position as a global superpower, and coins like this circulated widely across the empire, connecting millions of people through a shared currency system. Turn the coin over, and you'll see the legendary figure of Britannia seated with a trident in one hand and a shield resting beside her. Britannia is not just a design element. She is the embodiment of British identity. The trident represents naval strength, while the shield symbolizes protection and resilience. At a time when Britain controlled major sea routes, this imagery reinforced the idea of dominance over the oceans and global trade. What makes the 1934 penny truly powerful is its historical timing. It was minted in a world still trying to stabilize after World War I, yet unknowingly moving toward another global conflict. Economies were shifting, tensions were rising, and change was on the horizon. This coin, therefore, stands at the crossroads of history between stability and uncertainty. Minting and everyday life. These pennies were struck in bronze and produced in large quantities for everyday use. They passed through markets, shops, and hands of ordinary people used to buy essentials, pay fares, and support daily life. Over time, most of these coins became worn, losing their sharp details. That's why today, finding a well-preserved 1934 penny is not easy. Coins with clear features, strong edges, and original shine are highly valued by collectors because they have survived decades of use, value, and worth. Circulated coins, $1, $5 plus, better condition, $5, $15 plus. High-grade examples, $20 plus or more. Rare varieties or exceptional condition coins can push the value even higher. Why this coin matters. The 1934 UK 1 penny is more than just currency. It is a symbol of an empire at its peak, a reminder of a time when Britain stood as a global powerhouse. It carries the story of strength, tradition, and a world that was about to change forever. This is just the beginning of the journey. Now let's move forward in time to a completely different chapter of history. The 1947 UK 1 penny comes from the reign of George VI, and unlike the 1934 penny, this coin was born in a world that had just been shaken by World War II. Britain was no longer at the peak of its empire. Instead, it was rebuilding, recovering, and trying to find stability after years of destruction. This coin represents a nation that had survived one of the most difficult periods in modern history. On the obverse, you'll see King George VI, the monarch who became a symbol of strength and courage during the war. His leadership helped guide Britain through its darkest days, and his portrait on this coin reflects resilience, determination, and quiet strength. Now look at the reverse, the same iconic. Britannia still sits proudly with her trident and shield. But here's where the story changes. In 1934, Britannia symbolized power and dominance. In 1947, she represents endurance and survival. The design didn't change, but the meaning behind it did. By 1947, Britain was facing serious challenges. Economic struggles, rationing still in place, cities damaged from war, an empire slowly beginning to decline. Coins like this penny were part of everyday life during these tough times. They were used by ordinary people trying to rebuild their lives, buying food, paying for essentials, and moving forward step by step. This coin is not just metal. It carries the emotions of a nation trying to stand again. The 1947 penny was minted in large numbers, again using bronze. Due to heavy circulation in a recovering economy, most of these coins became worn over time. That's why today, finding a well-preserved example with clear details is more valuable and desirable. Value and worth. Circulated coins, 50 cents, $3 plus. Better condition, $3, $10 plus. High-grade examples, $15 plus or more. Rare conditions or exceptional preservation can increase the value significantly. Why this coin matters. The 1947 UK 1 penny is a symbol of survival. It tells the story of a country that went through war, faced destruction, but still stood strong and moved forward. From empire to endurance, this coin marks one of the most emotional transitions in British history. Now let's step into the final chapter of this journey. A time when Britain was no longer an empire, but a nation transforming into something new. The 1965 UK 1 penny was issued during the reign of Elizabeth II, a monarch who came to symbolize a modern, changing Britain. By this time, the world had moved far beyond the age of empires and even past the immediate struggles of World War II. Britain was now entering a new era, one of cultural change, economic adjustment, and a shift in global identity. This coin represents a turning point not just in currency, but in the story of an entire nation. On the obverse, you'll see the young portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, a powerful symbol of continuity in a rapidly changing world. She became queen in 1952, and by 1965, she had already witnessed major global transitions, the decline of the British Empire, the independence of many colonies, and the rise of a more modern United Kingdom. Her image on the coin reflects stability during transformation, nation holding on to tradition while stepping into the future. Britannia, same design, new meaning. Turn the coin over, and once again, Britannia appears seated with her trident and shield. But just like the previous coins, her meaning has evolved. In 1934, gives Britannia symbolized power and empire. In 1947, gives Britannia symbolized survival and recovery. In 1965, gives Britannia represents identity and legacy. By 1965, Britain's naval dominance was no longer what it once was, but Britannia remained as a reminder of history, tradition, and national pride. One of the most important facts about the 1965 penny is that it belongs to the pre-decimal currency system. At that time, British money was complex. 1 pound equals 20 shillings. 1 shilling equals 12 pence. This system had been in place for centuries, but change was coming. Just a few years later, in 1971, Britain shifted to a decimal system, completely transforming its currency. That means coins like the 1965 penny were among the last of their kind, a system that would soon disappear forever. This gives the coin historical importance beyond its design. It marks the end of an era. The 1965 penny was minted in bronze and produced in huge quantities, as demand for coinage remained high. These coins were heavily used in everyday life, buses, shops, markets, making them a normal part of daily transactions. Because of this heavy usage, most coins today are found in worn condition. However, well preserved. Examples with strong detail and original shine are much harder to find, and are more valuable to collectors. Value and worth. Circulated coins, 20 cents, $2 plus. Better condition, $2, $8 plus. High-grade examples, $10, $20 plus. Why this coin matters. The 1965 UK 1 penny is not just another old coin, it is a symbol of transition. It marks the moment when Britain moved from its old traditions into a modern financial system. It represents the end of the old currency era and the beginning of something completely new. It carries history from the past. 3 pennies, 3 different eras, but one incredible journey through history. From the powerful empire of George V to the survival and rebuilding under George VI, and finally to the modern transformation during Elizabeth II. These coins don't just carry value, they carry the story of a nation changing over time. What looks like a simple penny is actually a silent witness to world events, wars, recovery, and evolution. And the most surprising part? These pieces of history can still be found in collections, old drawers, or even forgotten boxes. So next time you come across an old coin, don't rush to spend it. Take a moment, look closely, and understand its story, because sometimes the smallest coins hold the biggest history. Stay connected with USA Coins, because here, every coin isn't just currency, it's a story waiting to be discovered.